Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Well, starting down here with my little spudlets here. The difference this week than last week is we got one new one here. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 little spudlets to plant here eventually. And again, I'm letting them grow long and spindly because that way I can bury them deep in the ground and that'll allow them to have more roots than certain indeterminate breed of potatoes. They'll grow a lot more potatoes that way if they've got long roots. A lot of roots. People say, what about this one? Well, this one, the problem I have here is I need to have something up here. I'd have to build some kind of column. Like, thought about cutting the bottom out of some of these and threading it through there and filling them up that way. I don't know. I don't have enough spare buckets, it seems, to do that in my mind. Although, I might. Maybe I don't want to waste buckets. I don't know. So, Wandering Jew is flowering quite well. At least that one is. Or these two are. However many hundreds there are, Eric. It's hard to tell how many plants you have when they do that. But they're flowering like crazy. And so, this thing is surviving. I put some fertilizer on it. I don't know if I put enough. But it's growing. I'm going to put some more fertilizer all the way out through there, though, because they are a very top-feeding type plant. In other words, they more prefer to be shallow surface feeding than deep, like oak trees and stuff. Now, getting up here, as my spindly pears are growing so big that they're literally like becoming vines instead of pads. And so get them up here where they can get more light than they were getting. Oh, phooey. Shouldn't probably be doing this with hands full, but anyhow, so here I've got a bunch of cactus vines growing, and they're getting along pretty good so far. These over here haven't changed a lot, but they haven't died either, so that's good. Oh, that's Mom running the water. Anyhow, so none of this stuff in here has changed just a whole lot. This is growing, but pretty much it's just always growing a little bit. Again, some of these other avocados here are long and spindly, so they really need to be where they can get more sunlight. They're bowing over because they're so tall and thin they can't really hold their own weight up. But, well, at the moment, they're getting by just barely. And other than that, I don't know what else to say about them. There's one that's got something wrong with its leaf there. I'm not for sure what. But, and all these other things, the amaryllis haven't gone dormant yet. They're still over here just soaking up light. What can you say? Guess they're happy being themselves. Some of these mother-in-law tongues are getting along. Looks like we're propagating a couple of new aloe veras over here finally. It's been a slow process. Eventually they will just reproduce like weeds in the ideal conditions. In the meantime, of course, these over here Mom's been handling, and this is one of her new additions right there. It's a real skinny type of cactus I don't know the name of. Her fern is changing out leaves. It's growing new ones and getting rid of old ones. And so some things are improving, some things are just the same as they were. I went and found myself a wild mushroom in the field. Getting beat up by where I've got it sitting at the moment. What I'm doing, technically, it's probably time to go ahead and get the whole thing underwater now. But this here is hydrogen peroxide, 30% just out of the bottle. And what I've been doing is I've been soaking the root stub of it to get that manure stuff off. But it's probably about time to just go ahead and soak the whole thing. So I'll do that after a while. But I found that thing in the field, and it's a pretty good sized mushroom. And then I've got some other mushrooms over here that are a different breed that I've picked a few of, and they're getting along. In between getting the tops pulled off of them, they put up some more. So I've got these over here, and I'm trying to let them get grown out as much as they will. They taste pretty good. I'm not for sure if these are portobellos or what they are, but they taste pretty good. And they make good beef and mushroom soup. So, other than that, I don't know of any other mushrooms out here. There might be some out here. I haven't been out before this today. There's Mr. O'Malley looking over the fence. Well, the field's green, but I don't see any mushrooms in it at the moment. So, other than that, my grapevines are putting on vine. You know, they're all opening up for the year. This one has always been the one in the last few years that's put on the best fruit. Hopefully it'll continue to do so. These are babies. What you doing? Other than that, though, this other one's been flowering like crazy. It always comes on with the flowers real early, but then it always loses its flowers and never produces any fruit. Which is very frustrating because it's always got the biggest clusters, and they would make such wonderful grape bunches if they would just mature all the way to fruition, but they haven't. So unfortunately, they got really big flower clusters all over them, but they never come to completion. They always rot while they're flowers and die. So it sucks. I've got the lentils still growing in here. They look a little better than they did before. They were looking kind of ratty for a while. This is vetch. Get it down to a different variety of lentil. That mustardy looking plant, whatever this is, might even be rapeseed. It's still flowering and making seeds. This one over here, they knocked this milk crate off here. I should have already strapped it on. And because of that, they've eaten all the flowers off of it. So that's my fault. That it's not going to make very many seeds this year. Over here, got a giant wild lettuce. I'll be eating that before too long. And there's some of these ground cherries out here, and they never make them big enough to really eat. I tried transplanting those cucumbers that Mom seeded out, and some of them are not making it. In fact, I'm going to probably just go ahead and put new cucumber seeds in the ground, and hope that as long as they stay in this soil from start, that they'll go ahead and grow up and be healthy, because they didn't really handle the transplanting that well. All this in here is basil, and even though some of it got trampled on, it's tough, durable stuff here, and it seems to still be coming up even when I've trampled it. Not because I wanted to trample it, because I couldn't get in there to work on those without standing there. But all that is basil there, and so there's going to be a lot of it, and that's encouraging. My spuds over here are growing up. They were looking kind of yellowy and sickly here a while ago. I put some more fertilizer in them, and they seem to be getting darker and happier now. Hopefully I'll get a lot of spuds out of them. I moved all the big, the white garlic over here, and I put two per pot, one on each side of all these pots. And then I repositioned the sage and put 3 garlics in here. So I got 3 garlics in here and a sage plant. This tomato plant was given to us by a lady that has a fruit stand. Mostly because it had it's got a little scuffed edge on here where it's all kind of scraped looking. So she just gave that to me. This is supposed to be a purple tomato. I've never raised, even had purple tomatoes before, so that's going to be an interesting adventure. And the strawberries are struggling. Those on the far end over there appear to have died, but these on this end are still pushing through new leaves and flowering, so hopefully they'll overcome the grass and everything. I can probably get in there and pull this back, pull the cage back, get in there and root up all the grass and till it under so that it becomes compost for the strawberries. I think there's one of those other, another one of these potentially rape weeds or whatever they're called. I don't know if that's what it is, but that's growing in there and I don't know what it is, so I haven't picked it because I don't know. Over here, these seedlings are from our own tomatoes. What few there are up is the healthier one, and some of them that are struggling and not doing so great, but there's more of them than there was last time I looked, so that's good. And maybe they'll come out and grow and do something. I've got those yellow raspberries out here so they get some sun and kind of harden off a little bit. And hopefully I can find a place to plant them here pretty soon. None of these watermelons on this side have yet germinated. A large number of the lentils in the middle here didn't germinate. And I've got now 7, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 watermelons on that side. So I've got a few that I can put somewhere. I'm just not sure where to put them because the groundhogs will eat the fruit. So wherever I put them, I need to make certain I can groundhog proof them. Of course, if you look here and there, there's a couple more giant lettuce over here that will end up on the dinner plate soon. The poke is probably growing pretty good. This over here, of course, is wild vetch, and it's already flowering real well. And so it'll put on seed and reproduce all over. And vetch is a really good background herb, being part of the legume family, because it puts nitrogen in the soil. It's a high protein plant. The tame blackberry has come back finally, but it ain't looking good. I'm going to fertilize it, but I'm going to make certain that if it does flower, that I pick all the flowers off of it so that it can just grow itself this year and not worry about putting on fruit, because it's done pretty badly lately. And of course the daisies coming along, they'll be open any day. These right here are day flowers. They'll be opening here pretty soon. These irises around here have not, for whatever reason, flowered at all, but up on the edge and along there they have. And I'm going to go down there and show you some on the bottom that are hybrids. Whatever this plant is, it's been putting on little flowers all over. There's some daisies that are open. Yeah. So some daisies are already open. The coneflowers, echinacea, are opened up too. Thought by now I'd see a lot more violets, but I haven't seen any this year. Wonder if they died off or something. That'd suck. I like the violets. But coming over here, you notice that the it must be the deer wandering through here. I was going to say, I see tracks through here, and that wasn't me, so probably the deer walking through here. And the Rose of Sharon is, at least the oldest one is growing. This one may be dead for all I know. I don't know. I'm not going to break it off or anything. If it's alive, I'll give it every chance. If it's dead, I'll find out eventually before the season's over. Pretty sure that all the wild hyacinths have come and gone. I think they've already bloomed. Sure wish we had lupins on our property, but we don't. See, over here again, there's a couple of irises over here. A lot of them aren't growing very well. And I don't know if it's the soil nutrients, climate change, or what. When I say climate change, I don't believe in the idea that we're making the world hotter. In fact, it's 30 degrees cooler here than it is at some of my neighbors' place. They're having 90 and we're having 60. So the peonies are about to open up, and hopefully next year they'll be recovered some more. Again, the boys came along and ate them off to the ground, so I'm surprised they come back at all, but that may be just one plant for all I know. So, this golden iris here, unfortunately came and went yesterday pretty much. So I couldn't, and it's got more, but I'm not going to stand out here and wait to catch it in bloom. Sorry guys, just can't do that. Besides, I get eaten alive by ticks and mosquitoes doing that. Over here, we've got one that's right at its perfect point. And I see one over here that, oh boy, I see poison ivy. That's going to be a problem. About walked in some. So there's one right there. That's in a good shape. Things I've been doing around here though. Now we're past all the flowers that I can think of that are open, or that, except the ones that are still open from before. Let me get over here and see if I can't point out some of what I have achieved. Get up in here. It's not easy to see in here because the lights aren't on. But if you look up in here, there's a whole bunch of timber. That's that free timber that I got. It's not all of it. There's still some over by in the field. But anyhow, there's a total of 18 2x4s and 4 2x6s and a couple 1xs, a 1x6 and a 1x10. And then there, I say 2x4 stud size. And there's 3. That one's like 12 feet, and then I got 2 that are like 9.5 feet. And so all that was free wood. And the reason it's back here, besides just the fact that it's protected from the weather, is the fact that it was in the way of other things, and it had to be moved because, first of all, I need my truck here freed up so I can go get feed from the store for my babies. There's a little bit of garbage still on it, little bits of scrap I need to carry off, but for the most part, the wood that was on here's off, and the wood that was over here on the trailer is off too. So all that's cleaned and organized. I took that 100+ pound piece of steel off of there because it's not part of the truck, it's part of the hydraulic engine hoist. I gotta move these, I gotta move all this stuff around it so when I get it welded and stuff I can mount it back on my International over there. You notice that this thing is here. Well, my brother needs to swap the cab out in a week or so on one of his trucks, so I needed to pull the A-frame out so that he can use it, and he'll just move in and out of here to get the job done, and then it'll probably get pushed back in here or something so that it's not in the way again, and then we'll go ahead but in the meantime I lowered that tank down. That tank is heavy as heck. I think it's about 3,000 pounds. Took a hydraulic jack and a lot of shaky nerves to get that where it is now. And it wouldn't take much for that to fall over. So I'm kind of grateful I didn't get crushed to death in that. That was a bit of a job, but it got done. And this also was up on top of that truck bed. This was all that conduit that I'd gotten. It's all in one place now, and you can see there's quite a bit of it. Again, they just threw this stuff out, and some of it even has wire in it. This is just stuff I had from this stripped out of the house mostly. Except this one I think was out of a pipe clamp. But for the most part, that's just free stuff people were throwing away. Don't ask me why. They didn't want it. I'm like, well, I'll take it. You know, free's good. I thought about putting that wood under here, but it's more work to put it under here than where I put it. And I'm going to eventually have to move all that. In fact, hopefully before long I'll be dozing all this out, and then I'll have to find a place to stack all my timber where it can be easily accessed and kept clean and kept dry. Because right now it's literally in a slough, how do you pronounce it? Anyway, the water runs down through there, and so humidity builds up in there and rots it from beneath. So it'd be better to have it somewhere drier and more protected. Build buildings out of it too, and make it drier and more protected. Build it into a building to keep other things dry. So this is what I was saying about the echinacea is about to open up. The cocoons have had a record year for around here, and they're just growing beat the band, and hopefully they're just propagating like crazy. This mint here, I don't remember if it's one of the bee balm or some other mint family. I didn't pick it last year, just that one for some reason looked different, so I let it go so it would grow. But bee balm and stuff is growing right now pretty good. And here we go. This thing is about to be covered in its blossoms here pretty soon, and it'll fill out with quite a few. Again, I've had close-up shots of this before, but they seem to bloom at the top where the sunlight is first, and then lower down, but not necessarily by any hard fast rule. More cocoons out here. Gladiolas, I have a hard time finding them when they're small. Yeah, when they're small it's just, they're tricky. Oh, there they are. There's a gladiola right there. And that one over here, the reason it's easy to find is because it stands right even with that one thing. And sorry, gotta clear my nose. It's about to run all over my face. And so all the flowers around here, of course, again, these surprise lilies will come back in the middle of the summer and bloom. Another shot of those flowers up there. Again, I have no idea if this thing will blossom or not. It's supposed to get covered in flowers. This one, I haven't really ever seen it have more than just 5 or 6 flowers on it ever. So I don't know, it may just never really be happy about flowering, so whatever. It is what it is. And then again, this gladiola here that just showed up last is got a bug on there. Was making a nest or something, had a web on there, and it fell down in the place, but I always had to check on that. So there's some more mint here. So yeah, I did finish the feeder, and I started rounding up the tools and everything. And and I also put the air filter back on the blue tractor after it's been off there for about 5 years. It's back on. And eventually I'll have to put the hood back on it and stuff like that, and just generally take better care of my equipment. So again, that truck bed goes to this truck. So once it's fully assembled, then it'll go on here, and this thing will be roadworthy again. I had to wire up a bunch of lights on it because the lights that were on it were pretty crappy. I've got new wire for it. I just got to run it all. Run it the length of the frame and get it all set up properly so it's not all snarled up mess. Like, I inherited it, and all I've done is just stick replacement light bulbs in it so far, but it's been a mess, so it'll be better. I wanted to paint all this stuff, but odds are I won't get around to paint it, and it just depends. The price of paint's extremely high. love to paint this thing, but it'd be hard. Maybe if I use some self-etching primer, I don't know, we'll see. But I got to finish some of the welding and stuff first and clean it real good before I can paint it. So we shall see what we shall see. That is the bulk of everything. I don't think I did anything in the shop. Pretty sure that, no, I didn't do anything in the shop. It's bad. No, I don't remember what I have done, so, but hopefully I'll be doing more. I've got to go and finish that pulley for my track loader, and then I can, once I get that thing running, I can do a lot of work that needs to be done that I need it to do the work. So yeah, I still got to fill this trench in. I've got to, dig the trench first and put this drain tile in there, and then when it's all assembled, backfill it, and then I'll have control over this flooding in here. More water came in recently, but not so much that it was standing water, because it's been so dry over the winter that it's soaked up a lot of that water. So I need to get that air conditioner, that pressure washer fixed, so I can clean the algae off the front of the greenhouse and stuff, so I get better light in there. Lots of things to do. It ain't gotten done yet. But when Bubba comes, he says he's going to take some of his stuff. I don't know which of his stuff he's going to take, but I hope he takes a lot of the outside stuff. I don't know. Just take anything away that's his, and that way I got more room for my own crap. We shall see. I can't think of anything else that I haven't either spoken about or shown you, so that's about it for this week, and hope y'all have a wonderful, blessed week coming up, and that everything goes well in your lives. So, again, shalom and peace and prosperity, and may all good blessings come to y'all. Bye for now.